Hello, my name is Father Michael Cusato. I'm a Franciscan friar of the province of the Sacred Heart in the Midwest. Between October the 3rd, sunset, and all throughout October the 4th, throughout the whole day, Christians throughout the world and many others besides are going to be celebrating the Feast of the Poverello, St. Francis of Assisi. Francis is one of those unique people in history who is honored by men and women all over the world, people of every faith tradition and even no faith tradition, because he is someone whom they believe represents what is the very best about what an authentic human being can become, and also a man of God. If you would happen to drive around the neighborhoods in the United States and peer, discreetly of course, into the front lawns and backyards of many of these houses, you will find here and there a replica of Francis, astride a birdbath of some sort. It's a reminiscence of Francis's famous preaching to the birds in the Italian town of Bettona. However, this image of Francis is not the only one we should have of him, because Francis was not the eccentric personality we sometimes paint him out to be, skipping through the fields and the tulips, petting animals and talking to birds. That's cute, but there's something a little bit more about Francis we need to fix on. Francis was a joyful man, for sure, but he was also a very serious man. As serious as the poverty that he saw around him, as serious as the poverty which racks our world even today. He tells us what really was the decisive turning point of his life. It was when God led him through his grace in the midst of a group of lepers wandering outside the city of Assisi. And Francis was forced to confront at that moment the seriousness of human suffering and to relate how human suffering is related to the suffering Christ. Because for Francis, people should not be easily parceled up in convenient and comfortable categories of rich and poor, of included and excluded, saint and sinner, Christian and non-Christian. For Francis simply saw human beings as brothers and sisters, one to another, each and every one of us part of the sacred human fraternity of creatures created by God and intended by God for us as the way we ought to live. And anything that destroys or threatens to destroy the sacred bonds between men and women, between living creatures on this earth, is what, for Francis, constitutes sin. And that's why he called his way of life doing penance. What he meant by that was to repent of and to distance oneself from all of those things, acts, actions, attitudes, which threaten to fragment and fracture apart the human fraternity of creatures. On the contrary, our mission as human beings is to respect and honor, through concrete acts of justice and mercy, this sacredness that is inherent in each one of us, and to call all people into the praise of our God. It was to respect and honor and inculcate the vision of this sacred fraternity of creatures that impelled Francis to try 3 times to go among the Muslims in the East. He was successful in 1219 after the 3rd try. But the reason he went was to simply live out and preach the message that even though we are of different faith traditions, we all honor God and we are all grounded in the same common humanity. The friars of this monastery here join with the brothers in the Holy Land in this great and sacred noble mission of honoring the sacredness of each individual human being under God. If and when we can in our own lives bring this same vision of Francis of honoring the sacred fraternity of creatures into fulfillment in our own daily lives, we will have done something rather significant. Creation will be honored for what it was intended to be, in harmony with one another and with itself. This is the deeper meaning of Francis and the Birds and Francis and the Wolf of Gubbio. It is creation being able to live at long last, finally, in harmony with itself, at peace with itself and with each other, where the lion will lie down with the lamb, and where the baby will be able to put his hand into the serpent's lair. It's a great mission we have given to us by Francis.